Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you a general video just talking about the most recent 2 episodes of The Walking Dead on AMC, which was episode 14 of season 9, Scars, as well as episode 15, the penultimate episode of the season, The Calm Before. And just how good this show is right now, man. Yeah, bringing you another Walking Dead video. I meant to do an episode review of episode 13, Choke Point, which I also thought was very good, especially with that first Daryl and Beta confrontation. Ryan Hurst is just killing it as Beta. He did some very good acting work on Sons of Anarchy over the series run, and he just fits the role of Beta like a glove, man. He has the presence, the way he chooses to speak. It's really cool, and the fight between him and Daryl is good, and probably only a sign of things to come. Hopefully once they release Negan or something. But yeah, I just wanted to do a general video, just sort of catching up on my thoughts on the show. And I've been a Walking Dead fan, since almost the beginning. I mean, I remember watching it on demand. I watched the first season on demand, then I started watching it episode to episode when season 2 started. I always went to review it from the beginning, but it was just before I got into making videos and such. But I've been reviewing it pretty often since season 4. And I'm one of them that actually enjoyed, or at least liked, season 7 and 8. My least favorite season is probably 6, actually, and I still like season 6. My favorite seasons are probably the first 3 or 4. I think that's when The Walking Dead was at its best. But still, man, I think season 9 so far is the best we've gotten in a few years. And again, that's coming from someone who's always liked it to some extent. I think season 9 is very good. Just what they did with Rick was really well handled, really well done. And since the second half started with this whole Whisperer story, I think it's been very good. I've really enjoyed it. I'm not going to be able to go in depth on both episodes, but I just wanted to touch on both of them to some extent at least. And Scars I really liked. I liked how the flashbacks were handled with Michonne finally finding about those X's, that were carved, or should I say burned into her and Daryl and everything like that. Pretty good little backstory actually on that. I forget the actress's name, but she I think played a character named Tara on True Blood, which was funny because I remember reading at one point she was actually considered for Michonne, seasons and seasons ago. Thank God they chose Denai Guerrera, but she was fine here. And then her whole backstory with Michonne, them actually being connected and stuff like that, I thought worked pretty well for as long as they touched on it. And just how that turned into, the woman was taking care of these kids, but she's turned them into basically killers, organized a whole group of them. And the show is causing controversy again, because they, Daryl and especially Michonne are end up being pushed to kill these kids, or some of these teenagers as well. But they don't do it just like haphazardly either. I mean, the way they do it, the sequence with seeing Michonne in the present, and seeing her swing her katana, then how it sequences with the kids running at her in a flashback. We see the walker heads going off, and then we can assume what happened when she swung at the the younger characters in the flashback. So I think people are way too skittish for that kind of thing. Again, it's a horror drama, okay? It's a post-apocalyptic show. Things like that happen, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be shocked and try to take the show down or something just because you see again, situations like that on a horror series, okay? But I thought it was really well handled, very mature with that, and very honest and realistic of those scenarios could actually come up in one way or another. So I thought the episode was very good. Also, Michonne's conversation with Negan. Michonne's still trying not to give him any ground or acknowledge anything about him whatsoever, but he talked about Judith and Negan actually makes some good points about what she's thinking and stuff like that. They're gonna end up releasing Negan, it's gonna be awesome. They really need Jeffrey Dean Morgan around though, especially with Denai Guerrera actually apparently leaving in season 10 at some point. But I'm sure we'll see her again, in the last Rick movie or something like that. But anyway, so I thought Scars is very good. Honestly, I'd give that episode about a 9.2, maybe a 9.3 out of 10. Choke point, by the way, episode 13, I'd probably give around like an 8.9 or so. And now, the penultimate episode, the episode before the season finale next Sunday, The Calm Before. I like too. I didn't think it was quite as strong as Scars, but just a different kind of episode. And of course, we see that infamous scene from the comics, the Pikes. A certain portion of our characters were ambushed and sort of lured in. And, Alpha, puts their heads on Pikes. They're still zombified heads. To make a statement, or just mark their territory as if they haven't already. Different from the characters that met that fate in the comics, because in the comics I believe it was King Ezekiel, as well as Rosita and some other more side type characters. In this, it was the couple that helped Gregory and tried to feud with Maggie and stuff like that, but they've come around since then. It was them, but the biggest ones were Enid, Tara, and Henry. I don't think it's as major as the comics. I still think King Ezekiel is maybe a bigger death than either of those in the comic. In the comics than this is now. But I'm kind of surprised they killed off Enid, especially with her ties to Carl in the past and stuff like that. I'm a little bit shocked that they actually decided to kill her off. But the show's gotta pull things like that. And articles were saying it was like Red Wedding level. I wouldn't say that. If it was Red Wedding level, Michonne would have died, or Daryl, or something like that. It's not quite that far. Tara is a decent one. Somewhat surprising, I guess, but she's more of a supporting character as well. And her time in the series has sort of exceeded what a lot of people expected for her anyway. But yeah, I am surprised they didn't go with original choices, or even like Rosita and Gabriel or something. But see, that happened to Enid is probably the most surprising part to me. And then they sort of write it as Sadiq, saying that they went down, they made the stand together and stuff like that, as well as the highwaymen that were helping them out. Just when they're starting to get likable, they're killed off. So pretty good, pretty good. I'd give the episode about an 8.8, 9 out of 10, somewhere in there. It was a really good scene though, the reveal. The most well-acted part of it was, Carol seeing Henry. And I'm a little bit surprised they killed Henry off too, because a lot of people were thinking he was sort of like a replacement Carl for the storylines going forward. Glad to see they just decided to avoid that, for the most part anyway. But yeah, the most well-acted part was definitely Carol and Daryl's reaction to it. Daryl trying to shield Carol from it. Saying, just look at me, and it really mirrored sort of when Sophia walked out of the barn in season 2 and when Daryl held her there. So it was really a bitter but sweet moment there, and really, even though they weren't like majorly important characters, it was still pretty emotionally resonant, and I think it did what the story was going for. So let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what you guys have thought about these past few Walking Dead episodes. I think season 9 is still very good. Looking forward to seeing what they do with the season 9 finale next week. So follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.